Somewhere in the last 3 months, your air conditioner spent $40 cooling nothing. Not your bedroom, not your living room, the great outdoors. And you paid it without knowing, because the meter doesn't tell you where the money went. It just spins. Most people go looking inside the house for the leak. Thermostat, filter, ductwork. But the thing quietly draining your wallet this summer is standing in your side yard, baking in the sun, and nobody has looked at it in years. Let me tell you what people blame first, because I've heard all of it. Standing in 1,000 kitchens while the homeowner points at everything except the real problem. The first suspect is always the thermostat. You bought the smart one. You set the schedule. You feel like you did your part, and now you're mad the bill didn't drop. But a thermostat is a switch with a college degree. It tells the system when to run. It does not make the system efficient. If the machine downstream is struggling, all your smart thermostat does is order more of the struggle on a schedule. The second suspect is the filter. And look, a clogged filter is real, and you should change it. A filter caked gray with dog hair chokes the return air and makes the blower work harder. But a filter is a $5 problem with a 5-minute fix. If a dirty filter were your whole story, you'd have already solved it. You're still here, which means it's something bigger. Third, people blame the windows. The old single-pane glass, the sun pouring in on the south side. That's a real load too. But replacing windows to fix a high AC bill is like buying new tires because your engine knocks. You're spending $10,000 to work around a problem that costs a couple hundred to fix at the source. Fourth, they blame the age of the unit. It's 15 years old, Walt. What do you expect? And sure, old equipment is less efficient. But I've seen 15-year-old units running clean and quiet, and I've seen 3-year-old units running like they're being punished. Age is not the villain. Neglect is. And neglect has a specific address. That address is the outdoor unit. The condenser. The big metal box outside with the fan on top that nobody thinks about until it dies. That box is where the heat from your house gets dumped outside, and if it can't dump that heat, your whole system chokes on it. Let me show you what's actually happening out there. Walk outside to that unit on a hot afternoon while the AC is running. Put the back of your hand near the fan blowing out the top. It should be blowing hard, and the air should be hot. That's good. That's heat leaving your house. Now, look at the sides. The whole outer skin of that box, those thin metal fins wrapped around it, that's the condenser coil. That coil is a radiator. Its entire job is to let outside air pass through it and carry heat away. Now look closer. Get down on one knee and really look at those fins. In 35 years and over 10,000 inspections, I can count on one hand the number of these I found actually clean. What I usually find is a felt mat of cottonwood fluff, grass clippings, dryer lint, dust, and dead bugs packed into those fins like insulation. Some of them I could peel the mat off in one sheet, like lifting a rug. One house in Missouri, the coil was so packed with cottonwood I thought someone had wrapped it on purpose. Here's the mechanism, and it's simple. That coil needs air to move through it. When the fins are matted shut, air can't pass. The heat has nowhere to go. So the refrigerant inside comes back into the coil still hot, and the compressor, that's the heart of the system, has to squeeze harder and run longer to force the heat out. You've turned a radiator into a blanket. The machine is now cooling your house by brute force. And brute force costs money every single hour it runs. And the fins aren't the only thing. Look at what's around the unit. I find them buried in shrubs with a fence 8 inches away, with a deck built right over the top of them. Every one of those is starving the coil of air. That box needs to breathe. 2 feet of clearance on all sides, 5 feet of open sky above. When it's boxed in, the hot air it just blew out gets sucked right back in. It's rebreathing its own exhaust. It's like running on a treadmill inside a phone booth. Then there's the coil that hides, the one you can't see, down inside your ductwork, Above the furnace sits the evaporator coil, the cold half of the system. That one gets dirty too, coated in a fuzzy gray film that acts exactly like the outdoor grime. Same crime, indoor edition. But stay with me, because the next part decides whether you pay $40 once or $40 every month for the rest of the time you own this house. Let's do the money, because this is where it stops being a chore and starts being a number. A dirty condenser coil doesn't announce itself. It doesn't trip a breaker or leak on the floor. It just quietly makes your system work harder. The Department of Energy has been clear on this for years. A coil that can't shed heat properly can drag efficiency down by 10 to 30%, depending on how bad it is. Let's be conservative and call it 20%. Say your cooling costs you $200 a month in the worst of summer. 20% of that is $40. Every month for 4 or 5 months of cooling season, that's $160 to $200 a year. Blown out the top of a dirty box in your side yard. Now stretch it. 10 years in that house. That's $2,000 minimum spent cooling the air around your condenser instead of your bedroom. And that number is the gentle version. I've seen units so choked the efficiency loss was closer to a third. Here's the micro cost against the macro consequence, and I want you to sit with this one. A can of no-rinse coil cleaner costs about $12. A garden hose you already own. A fin comb, which straightens the bent metal, costs about $8. So for $20 and 40 minutes of your Saturday, you address the exact thing that's bleeding you $200 a year. But there's a worse bill hiding behind the electric bill. When that compressor runs hot and long, year after year, it wears out early. A compressor is not a repair. When it goes, the shop tells you to replace the whole outdoor unit, sometimes the whole system. That's $3,000 to $7,000. And the thing that killed it was a felt mat of cottonwood you could have peeled off with your fingers. You didn't pay $20, so now you pay $5,000. That's the whole story of this trade, right there. Before you spend anything, do this test today. It takes 2 minutes, and it tells you more than a guess ever will. Go outside while the AC is running, and find the 2 copper lines coming out of the unit. One is fat, wrapped in black foam insulation. One is thin and bare. The fat insulated one is the suction line, and here's your diagnostic. Put your hand on it, right on the copper if you can find a bare spot, or on the foam. It should feel cold. Cold like a can of soda out of the fridge. Sweating even with beads of water on it. That means the system is moving heat properly. Now, if that line feels barely cool, or room temperature, or if it's warm, something is wrong with how this system is shedding or absorbing heat. That's your flag. Second part of the test. Stand over the top of the unit where the fan blows out. That air should be hot and forceful, hitting the back of your hand like a hairdryer. If the air coming out feels weak or only warm instead of hot, the coil isn't dumping heat. Combine that with a suction line that isn't cold, and you've found your problem before you've spent a dime. Third, just look. Shine your phone light sideways across the coil fins. If you see light passing through cleanly, good. If you see a wall of gray felt, that's your $40 a month, and now you can see it with your own eyes. So let's fix it. Here's the walkthrough, then the ladder. First, kill the power. There's a disconnect box on the wall right next to the unit, a little gray or metal box. Pull the block out, or flip the breaker. I don't care how careful you are, you do not clean a machine that can turn on. That fan will take a finger. Next, take a soft brush or a shop vac and clear the loose debris off the outside of the coil. The leaves, the fluff, the top screen. Lift off the fan grill if you're comfortable, and pull out the tennis balls and the maple seeds and whatever the squirrels have been storing in there. Now, the coil itself. Spray it down with your garden hose, and here's the rule. Spray from the inside out. That means you get the fan cover off, aim the hose from inside the unit, pushing dirt back out the way it came in. If you spray from outside in, you drive the grime deeper into the fins and pack it tighter. Spray from the inside out. Always. Never the other way. That's the code. Water low pressure, not a pressure washer, because a pressure washer will fold those fins flat and make it worse. If the fins are matted with grease or heavy film, use the no-rinse coil cleaner, let it foam, and let the next rain or a light hose rinse do the rest. Then take that fin comb and gently straighten any fins that are bent or crushed. Bent fins block airflow just like dirt does. Let it dry. Restore power and put your hand back on that suction line. You should feel it get colder within a few minutes. That's the sound of money coming back into your pocket. Well, the feel of it. Now the latter, because not everybody wants to do the same thing. Good. And this is the $20 tier. You do it yourself once a year, every spring before cooling season. Coil cleaner, fin comb, garden hose, and clearing 2 feet of clearance around the box. Cut back the shrubs. Move the recycling bins. This alone recovers most of the loss on most units. And it's the highest return on any $20 you'll spend on this house. Better. And this is the $150 to $250 tier. You hire a technician for a proper seasonal tune-up. They clean both coils, the outdoor one, and the hidden indoor evaporator you can't reach. They check the refrigerant charge, because a system low on refrigerant will also run forever and cool poorly. And that's a gauge job, not a hose job. They check the capacitor and the contactor, the 2 cheap electrical parts that fail most and cost $30 each to replace before they strand you in August. Do this once a year and you're covered on the things a hose can't touch. Best? And this is the larger investment. If your unit is genuinely old, running an efficiency rating down in the single digits, and you're facing a repair that's a big fraction of a replacement, then you plan a replacement on your terms, not in a panic in July when it dies, when you'll take whatever's on the truck. A modern high-efficiency system, properly sized and properly installed, sits in the $4,000 to $8,000 range depending on your house, and the operative words there are properly sized. Bigger is not better. An oversized unit cools too fast, shuts off, and never runs long enough to pull humidity out, so your house feels cold and clammy and the compressor short-cycles itself to death. Here's the honest limitation. Cleaning that coil will recover the efficiency you lost to dirt. It will not turn a 15-year-old builder-grade unit into a modern one. If your system was inefficient the day it was installed, a clean coil brings it back to its own best day, and its best day might still be mediocre. That's the truth. And anyone who tells you a hose fixes everything is selling you something. And here's when you call a licensed pro. No arguing. If that suction line isn't getting cold after you've cleaned everything, if the unit is icing up, if it trips the breaker, or if you suspect the refrigerant is low, you stop. Refrigerant is regulated by the EPA. You need a certified technician and gauges to touch it, and messing with those lines yourself is how you turn a $200 problem into a $2,000 one. Let me tell you about a house outside Cedar Rapids. Nice family, 2 kids. They'd been running that AC flat out all summer, and the July bill hit $310. They were convinced the unit was dying, and they'd already gotten a quote to replace it, $5,200. They called me for a second opinion before they signed. I walked to the side of the house. The condenser was tucked behind a row of arbor vitae they'd planted for privacy, branches pressing right against the fins on 3 sides. The coil was a solid mat of pollen and cottonwood, gray felt top to bottom. The fan air was warm, not hot. Suction line, barely cool. We cut the power. Spent 45 minutes, trimmed the shrubs back 2 feet, peeled the mat off, hosed the coil from the inside out, combed the bent fins, turned it back on. Within 10 minutes, that suction line was sweating cold and the top of the unit was blowing hot like it should. Their next full month's bill came in at $212. Just under $100 a month saved by a $20 Saturday. They kept the $5,000. The unit is still running today. That's the choice in front of you. You can pay $20 and an hour today, or you can pay $40 a month forever and a compressor sometime down the road. The bill doesn't warn you. It just quietly takes it, month after month, and you get used to the number until you think that's just what summer costs. It isn't. The HVAC installers are going to disagree with me in the comments, tell you a homeowner shouldn't touch the unit at all. Let them. I only report what I find, and what I find is a felt mat you could peel with your fingers. So tell me 2 things. First, what state are you in, and what did your electric bill hit this last August? I want to see the range because it tells the whole country something. And second, if you've ever pulled the cover off your outdoor unit, tell me what you found living inside it. I've heard birds, mice, and one very committed colony of wasps. Now here's the question I can't shake. If the outdoor coil was that dirty, and you never once thought to look at it, what does the coil you can't see, the cold one hidden up inside your ductwork, look like right now?